So first thing we're gonna do is we want to identify the regions where there is height change of slope, right? So we're gonna try to keep it simple at first and then slowly add features to this. Now, first thing I want to do is initialize the color attribute to something like black, right? You will be using this, the color, to see what we are doing and be able to debug our tool easier. So let's grab the color attribute first, so we have easy access to this. So I'm gonna say geo find point attrib cd, and then right after this for loop I'm gonna say I will create an empty list, gonna call it regions, and then create an empty dictionary, so an empty region, okay? And now I'm gonna fill this empty regions with, for example, every region does have things like points, right? So I'm gonna say temporary region points is a list, an empty list for now. So yeah, should be fine. And next step is gonna say we need to keep track of the previous point of this region and the next point, right? Next point. Initialize at that, and we want to know while we are looping over the points, we want to keep track whether this is the first point of a region or not. Okay, I'm gonna say temporary region first point is none. Next, we're gonna loop over all the points. I'm gonna say for I in range 1, so we're gonna skip the first point and start from point of index 1, and then I'm gonna say length points, and we will grab the current height just like we did here. So I'm gonna say current height equal points of position and index 1. So I grab the height, the y component. And we're gonna grab the previous height, so it's gonna be points I minus 1 dot position. Alright, later all this getter, and we need to calculate obviously the difference, so I'm gonna call it height difference equal current height, so the difference between the current height and the previous height. And next, what we gonna do is, for example, say let's try to visualize this difference using the vertex colors. Okay, so I'm gonna say points I got attrib value then I say set attrib value to be color attribute. We're gonna set color attribute to be within vector 3, and we're gonna say 0, then height difference, then 0. And you can already see what's happening. So some areas have quite, the height difference between any given point and its previous point is quite high, like this area, for example. So we want to group all of these colored area into regions, right? So first thing I want is to add some certain threshold parameter to control like what areas we are interested in. Okay, maybe some area like this one, you do not want to create a water cascade there, right? So let's just go to properties. Let me just bring this window, and then gonna go parameters, and gonna call this, for example, let's call it height trigger. All right. And let's grab this parameter here. So height trigger let's try to move it somewhere here. Sounds like I got the name wrong. Oh no, I forgot to just assign proper name here. All right, now I'm gonna say if height difference is greater than height trigger, then we can color that area, right? Oops. And now, as you can see, you have the ability to control which area we are interested in. As you can see, this is before and this is after. So we are really only interested in area with high slope, lower slope areas. Just yeah, you don't need to have water cascades there. But since we expose this parameter later on, like you will be able to control where cascades appear at what slope using this, right? So for now I'm gonna just try to leave it like this. Alright, looks correct. Now next part is we want to say if we are interested in this region, right? We want to know, we want to start adding points to the region, right? So if we succeeded in this test, then it means I'm gonna check if the if we are in the first, if there is already a first point or not, right? So if the first iteration, obviously there is no first point, so we are gonna assign it here. So I'm gonna say temporary region first point equal this one, right? Okay, I'm gonna say if it is equal none. Okay, and we want to add this point to the region dictionary. So I'm gonna say region points append this point, right? So let's see what we got. Now if like we have the temporary region first point is not none, which means like we are probably still adding points to a region. Now if this test is false, most likely it means we no longer interested in whatever comes next, so we don't want to add any points or anything. So I'm just gonna say temporary region first point equal none. All right, and I'm gonna say if the size of the region is greater than 1, okay, then we will append it to the regions list. Because if the size is equal 1, it means if the size of a region is equal 1, then it means there isn't really a continuous change of height. Okay, so we don't want to add that to our list. So I'm gonna say if the size of the temporary region is greater than 1, then we can append this we can append temporary to the regions list. So I'm going to say append this, right? And of course we might want to fill the previous point and the next point. So I'm going to say this one, oops, and then this one. So the previous point, obviously it is I minus 1, and the next point is I plus 1. Oops, plus 1. All right, let's see. Let's close this. This goes here. Okay. All right. And now, of course, we want to clear everything here. So we just want to say, like for example, I'm going to say temporary region, there is this empty, there is no points. Okay. And with the regions filled, what we're gonna do is try to assign a unique color, or let's say a unique random color for every region for debug and visualization purpose, so we can further see what's going on and be able to improve the tool. So first thing I want to do is I want to comment this out here, and I'm gonna say from random import random. Okay, so we need the random function from the random module, and then we're gonna look over all the regions. So I'm gonna say for region in regions, for every region we want to create a random color. So I'm gonna say random color equal to vector 3 random, random, and random. Okay, now for all the points of every region, we want to assign this color. So I'm gonna say set attribute value to be the random color. All right. And as you can see, we get for every region a random color. And we can always tweak this threshold. This is related to the height thing, so we should tweak this for the cascades, the height trigger. So, but as you can notice in some areas, let's, for example, pick this area, right? As you can see, the region might be way too long, right? Keep in mind, like for every region, we will create, you know, some cascade. So maybe like we might want to expose some sort of parameter so we can like limit how long any region can be. Okay, so we give room for like for example, if a region is too long, maybe it is wise if it is divided in 2 or 3 regions, so you get many cascades going on, right? Just like how in the real world you might find water cascades, like it's not just one cascade per region, like sometimes you might find many cascades one after another. So I want to expose parameter like this. I'm just gonna say, for example, gonna add a float, gonna call it max cascade generate. Oops, I guess I ended up overwriting this. Should be editing this. I'm gonna say max cascade generate. Okay, let's apply this and go to our Python script and try to read this parameter again. So here I'm gonna say max cascade generate node param and evaluate. So in order to limit the size of a region, what we can do is we can like every time if when this temporary region first point is valid, which means we are like adding points to this region, what we need to check is we need to look at the current height and compare it with the height of the first point. If it exceeds the max cascade generate, then we should not add to that region, right? And it should maybe be added to new region. So to do that, what we gonna do is right here, I'm gonna initialize a variable. I'm gonna call it region height difference equals 0. Right now, if we are not the first, if this is not the first point of a region, okay, if essentially the first point is valid, what we're gonna do is calculate height difference. I'm gonna say region height difference is the difference between the current height and the let's say the height of the previous point, the first point. So gonna be first point position and grab the height. All right. Now, as long as this region height difference is less than whatever we indicate in the max generate, we should be fine to add it to the region. If not, then it's the end of the region and maybe gonna be creating a new region. So I'm gonna say and the region height difference is less or equal cascade max generate. All right, now let's try to play with this. I'm gonna leave it at something like this, and as you can see now we have a long region, but as I make this smaller, it's now divided in two regions, right? Okay, let's give it something like this, right? And as you can see, even here, like we have three regions, right? Previously it would be one single region. So which means we most likely will generate three water cascades here. Even here the effect is even more obvious and it kind of makes more sense, right? It's an area with very high slope. You want to add as many cascades as possible in order to get to this bottom height without, without having essentially a sloping water. Like it might look very, very weird.